You're listening to The Bird Bath. This episode of The Bird Bath is brought to you by NVA Canada. Are you a US or Canadian licensed veterinarian looking to expand your horizons, dreaming of a new life in a stunningly picturesque part of Atlantic Canada? Make it your reality at Humber Veterinary Clinic in Corner Brook, Newfoundland and Labrador. Your dream job and new lifestyle come with a $50,000 to $100,000 Canadian dollar signing bonus, immigration and relocation support, and low-cost oceanside living. Be part of a team-first culture that supports your growth in a modern and well-equipped facility with the potential for leadership and partial ownership. Learn more about this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity at Humber Veterinary Clinic by emailing careers@nvacanada.ca or click on the link in our show notes. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. The American Pet Products Association just released its 2025 Fish and Reptile Report. Now, I don't do a lot of talking about the squirmy, slithery guys on the show, but I have a special place in my heart for the fish. They were actually the first pets that I ever had. Growing up, I was a fish family. I had a 120-gallon freshwater tank with African cichlids in it, and I used to actually raise them and breed them and then resell them, which shouldn't surprise anyone that knows me, and use it to cover costs of tank cleaning. So I'm all about fish. I think fish are an awesome way to introduce the responsibilities of pet care early on into the family. But the APPA's report shows how fast this category is growing and evolving. About 10 million US households own freshwater fish, 6 million own reptiles, and 2 million keep saltwater fish. What's changing here is the scale. 3 out of 4 fish owners now keep multiple fish. I was one of those. And saltwater enthusiasts are upgrading to even larger tanks. Nearly half of these owners keep tanks between 56 and 125 gallons, while a third have gone to even bigger 126-gallon or more tanks. Among reptiles, turtles and tortoises still have the lead, lizards are on the decline, and snakes are making a comeback with ownership up more than 20% since 2023. I know snakes are not going to be making a comeback into my house. We had a chance to meet some snakes at the City Vet booth at the Southwest Vet Symposium this week, and my daughters were definitely uninterested in snakes, but for people that do love them, the bond is real. Half of fish owners buy gifts for their pets, and 2/3 of reptile owners do the same, spending an average of $34 per gift. Now that's kind of crazy when you think about it. And owners are also planning to keep these animals for the long haul. They name caretakers and even set aside money to ensure pets are cared for in the future. Additionally, their actual place where you're keeping these animals is modernizing too. They've got acrylic and custom tanks on the rise, newer technologies in lighting and advancements in lighting, and also larger enrichments in the total quality and caliber of reptile cages. One big change here is that we're seeing a large number, because a lot of these animals, are still bought in stores. You're not going as often to the foster or to the shelter for your fish. A lot of these big box stores are starting to see decline, while fish specialty stores are gaining major share, and specialty shops are pulling in more reptile buyers. So we're seeing a strong in-store connection with the digital influence that we're seeing in the growth of this marketplace. Younger generations are getting bigger tanks, they're bringing snakes back, and they're treating these smaller, slipperier pets with the same emotional weight as we've seen people have with dogs and cats. More investment, more personalization, and we're seeing just an overall evolution in the life cycle that people are bringing to their animals. Smalls, the first to market cat-only fresh pet food brand, has added an industry veteran, Nate Creddick, as COO on Smalls' world-class leadership team. Creddick will oversee the company's retail expansion to meet growing demand, serving cat parents across the country. Most recently, he was the president of Himalayan Pet Supply, which is a division of Primal Pet Group. And prior to that, he served as the COO of the Honest Kitchen, where he helped scale and grow that business to becoming a market-leading human-grade dog food brand. So big experience for the team at Smalls here. CEO and co-founder of Smalls, Matt Michelson, said, "With Nate joining our team, Smalls is doubling down on our mission to create a healthier, happier future for cats, and we can now realize that vision more widely at retail." So this should not be a surprise to anyone that's been following along with what Smalls has been up to lately, but they've expanded from their direct-to-consumer delivery offering with placement now at some major retailers. They debuted in retail in late 2024 and have established themselves in more than 500 pet retail stores across the US. So congratulations to Nate and the whole team at Smalls. Best of luck and hope you guys hit it big. Our next story comes from our friends up north. The MaRS Discovery District has announced the launch of a national food and ag tech mission powered by Farm Credit Canada. So you might be thinking, MaRS Discovery District? Don't get fooled, people. All right, MaRS is a Canadian company that does startup incubation and has also built out this innovation hub. It's a bit of a backronym, perhaps, but the best I could find was that it's sort of a short term for medical and related sciences, although they seem to have stepped away from that. This is not the candy bar and Banfield company that you're used to, but it still was something that, A, caught my eye because of the name, but it also caught my eye because this is a pretty cool thing to see. They've built this really, really incredible space in Canada to try and increase the flow of investment to support growth and scaling of Canadian food and ag tech solutions. The goal here is to build resilience in the food and agriculture sector to boost Canada's global competitiveness and support climate adaptation efforts. And they want to also reduce the operational emissions of Canada's food and agriculture sector through the adoption of new innovation. So got a really cool footprint here. Obviously, the ag side of things is definitely where the tie into the bird bath is, but it's also a company or a bit of an incubator and a venture accelerator that's doing a lot of really interesting things. And I thought that we should definitely hear about it because we do have a lot of listeners up in Canada. So over the next several years, MaRS will run 3 cohorts of 8 to 10 startups each, spanning the entire agri-food chain from what they say from farm to shelf. The programs are going to focus on areas like resilient infrastructure, logistics and traceability, waste reduction and circularity, and automation. The first cohort will target the digital supply chain with applications due by October 17th, 2025. Next, MaRS is putting together a national coalition and will bring cross-sector coalition of food producers, startups, investors, and government stakeholders to identify barriers to adoption in agri-food innovation and set priorities for tackling them. They've got a ton of really incredible people that are helping to support this. They've got lots of support from the Canadian government, as well as a lot of independent investment companies here. And finally, they're working with 5 to 10 large Canadian corporations to define their most pressing challenges. It reminds me a lot, actually, of what the team at Plug and Play is doing, where they have these large companies that have challenges and they partner directly with startups to try and help tackle these things. They try to figure out what the problem is, bring in funding, and bring top minds to put them in an incubator and really start solving these problems. So really cool to see. I'll be sure to link MaRS Discovery District in the notes because if you Google it, you're going to get the MaRS candy company here, but it's definitely one that you should check out and see what they're up to in Canada. Finally, I wanted to, I don't know if this is news, but it's news to me, or is news that happened for me. I just finished a great book, Lead to Thrive, The Science of Crafting a Positive Veterinary Culture by Josh Weissman. And Josh gave me this book earlier this year, and I know a lot of you have probably read it, and I got myself buckled down, read the book, really enjoyed it, and I wanted to bring it to all of you because I thought it was something that we're seeing some of this need to improve what's happening in the clinics as we're seeing fewer patients coming through, fewer appointments, and we're starting to see this need for operational improvements, the improvement of team utilization, culture, and a lot of the different things there. And so I thought Lead to Thrive was a great blueprint for bringing positive veterinary culture to the forefront. So in the book, Josh highlights that culture is as critical to a hospital as medicine itself. The science of positive psychology says that people stay engaged when they feel safe, recognized, and empowered. In practice, that means daily habits like showing gratitude, giving autonomy, and protecting balance. Done right, it builds resilience, lowers turnover, and creates a practice where both pets and people get better care. So what I took away from this is something that it's hard to remember especially if you work remotely, but culture isn't just fluff, right? It's a core value that really defines where a business is going. And in vet med, it can be the lever that you pull that decides whether a team burns out or if they thrive. So from the book, I learned here, and from Josh's educations here, is that leaders who put trust, empathy, and purpose at the center set the stage for better medicine and happier teams. So if you haven't read the book, Lead to Thrive, The Science of Crafting a Positive Veterinary Culture, it's a great one. Pick it up. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it from your local bookstore, because you know what? They still are out there, and enjoy it. And for more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.